Do it again, Twa! Do it again! That took a lot out of me. I don't think this is the best way to... Cheerilee burst out of the burning building, smoke trailing behind her as she collapsed on the grass just outside of the theater complex. Immediately, several ponies rushed forward to help her, and as she looked up, she saw Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, and Fluttershy standing around her with concerned looks in their eyes. Are you okay? Where are the children? I teleported us all here as soon as we saw the smoke. Twilight said, the other 5 nodding. Cheerilee opened her mouth, her voice hoarse and crackling from the smoke as she spoke. They... inside. Fire. No idea. How... she said, but the effort took a lot out of her. Shoot! We can't wait! We need to get them out now! Rainbow Dash cried out. Just wait, the Purple Mare replied calmly. I can see other ponies crossing the river already. Pretty soon we'll... But Rainbow Dash didn't listen. Utilizing her trademark speed, she dashed through all of the flames and disappeared into the building, quickly followed by Rarity and Applejack, who were both yelling the names of their respective little sisters. What now? Fluttershy asked shakily, as she and Pinkie Pie waited for Twilight's direction. Form a bucket line, the unicorn commanded, the other 2 ponies quickly dashing off in the direction of the river to organize the other ponies in one long line. As the first buckets got passed to the front and thrown in the fire, both Cheerilee and Twilight could see the effort was in vain. The water didn't seem to make any difference, as bucket after bucket was thrown onto the flames, yet they just kept getting bigger and hotter. From where she lay on the ground, Cheerilee suspected that any evidence against her might already be long lost, but she wasn't willing to take the bet. Suddenly, the purple ponies seemed to get fed up with waiting and worrying about her friends, and an idea came to her. She called upon her magical reserves, straining herself to the maximum as her horn began to glow more and more. Ponies watched in awe as a purple trail of light sprung up between the river and the theater, and the river started to alter its course. In a matter of seconds, a wall of water suddenly rushed forward to the theater walls, crushing everything in its path. Cheerilee was hit by a rush of panic. This just might be enough to put out the fire. She shouldn't have worried, although the unleashed fury of the river did indeed put an end to the flames. It also washed away the weakened theater building itself, smashing it all against the ground. As Twilight, exhausted, stopped applying her magical might to it, the water of the river started to recede, dragging a lot of rubble and the like with it. Twilight looked around the disaster area fearfully for a few moments, but breathed a sigh of relief as her 3 friends climbed from between the rubble, battered, bruised, and a little singed, but otherwise okay. But the fillies and colts they'd been looking for were nowhere in sight. Twilight threw a few questioning glances at her friends, but they all shook their heads as tears filled their eyes. Nobody had managed to find any of them in the inferno. As the reality of the situation hit them, their emotions got the best of them as they let go of their tears. They were quickly joined by the weakened Cheerilee, who shed tears of pure relief. A week or 2 had passed since the incident, and a lot has happened. Several investigations had looked into the cause of the fire, but the fire itself and the water that followed had destroyed anything that could have given the investigators even the slightest of clues. Cheerilee always looked confused and heartbroken whenever she got questioned, claiming she was taking care of something on the other side of the complex when the fire broke out. Although some ponies wondered if this couldn't be considered some sort of negligence, no official complaints against her were filed. The cleaning effort had been ongoing for an entire week, and even now, bits and pieces of rubble still turned up here and there. During the weekend following the disaster, a joint burial ceremony was held for all of the village and colts who died at once, although all of the caskets had been filled with stones and belongings of the dead, since none of the bodies had been found. Everybody got very emotional, including Cheerilee, who cried tears of joy as her struggle finally came to an end. A lot of ponies came to tell her that it was okay and things would be alright, or that it wasn't your fault. Cheerilee constantly had to take care not to accidentally respond to these in the wrong way, so she was quite relieved when it was finally over. And so, 2 weeks passed. Cheerilee grunted and moaned, sweating profusely in the warmth of the sun. It had taken her a lot of effort, but she'd certainly be sore in the morning. She didn't care. She'd finally done it. She took a few steps back to admire her work, and marveled at the perfect state her garden was in. Once again. There and then she made a solemn vow, a sacred pact with herself. I, Cheerilee, will never let any weeds take over my garden ever again.